Hi everyone. Last episode I have discussed about being proactive. I'll just quickly recap. Being proactive is about really identifying that I am the creator of my own destiny and I can choose what to do based on some principles and values and not be my decisions will not be an outcome of the circumstances or external factors. Let's now move on to the second habit, which is begin with end in mind. The first habit has already helped me realize that I am the creator of my own destiny. The second and third habits will deal with how I create my destiny or how I am rescripting my life to create my destiny. Uh, Everything in this world is created twice. The first creation normally happens in the mind, it's called mental creation, and the second creation is physical. So, the second habit deals with mental creation. Mental creation is nothing but having a clear picture of what has to be achieved. While the third habit, put first things first, is all about physical creation. So it deals with the strategy to be applied and how to achieve what has been planned in the during mental creation. Well, to clarify, I'll explain both creations in greater detail with some examples. Say I wish to build a house for myself. So what do I do? I work with my mind to get a sense of what kind of house I want, how many bedrooms do I need, and things like that. So I have to create a blueprint. So this will be my mental creation. This is done before the physical creation. If I do not ensure that the first creation or the blueprint is accurate and reflects what I want, it might be quite expensive to make changes during second creation. The same applies when you are trying to build an enterprise. If you are not clear and if you do not define what you are trying to accomplish, businesses will fail. So, the extent to which you begin with end in mind will determine the success of your enterprise. The same can be applied to parenting. So, if you want your kid to be disciplined and responsible, you need to keep that in your mind when you're interacting with the child on a daily basis. Similarly, if you apply this for a holiday, for a vacation, you should know your destination beforehand and then plan out. So, knowing your destination is sort of mental creation, and then planning for it and actually going there is your physical creation, and that's dealt in the third habit. Habit 2 is based on the principles of personal leadership. What is leadership? Leadership is really the first creation, the vision that you have of what I wish to achieve. It's quite different from the management. Management is the second creation. So if leadership deals with the top line, such as what are the things I wish to accomplish, management deals with the bottom line, as how I can best accomplish certain things. Management is all about doing things right, and leadership is all about doing the right things. Leadership requires a vision, and your imagination and creativity helps you determine the path you wish to take and what you wish to achieve. And management deals with day-to-day logistics, how you are achieving your tasks, planning your goals and things like that. So management is efficiency in climbing the ladder of success, while leadership determines whether the ladder is leaning against the right wall. If you are working so efficiently but you are leaning against the wrong wall, you are moving in the opposite direction with a great speed, which is disastrous. Well, leadership is all about effectiveness and management is about efficiency. Leadership is quite hard because we are often caught in management dealing with efficiency, setting our goals, achieving them before even having a clarity on values. Let's now discuss why we need mental creation and how to stick to a mental creation. There are various centers that affect our decision making every day. For example, spouse is a center. If you are spouse centered, your decision making criteria is limited to what you think is best for your marriage. And there are other centers, like this could be your extended family, it could be money. If you are money centered, you think in terms of money and not based on values. It could be you are work centered, you could be possession centered. If you are possession centered, you crave for cars, houses, accessories, a lot of other things. If you are pleasure centered, you will keep watching movies and television all the time, so that will be your highest priority. And you could be friend centered or enemy centered, you could be community centered or religious centered, you could be self centered as well. So if you are friend centered, you are vulnerable to their moods and feelings. All these centers are really based on people or things which are subject to change. We really need to center our lives on principles which never change. Principles are deep fundamental truths. If you are principle centered, your decisions and actions are not driven by your current financial situation or any other circumstances. So, the mental creation should really be the formulation of all these principles. Let me give you an example of how these centers will affect your decision making. Say, for example, you promised your wife that you'll take her to a movie at 4 p.m. Unfortunately, your boss calls you and asks you to help him in the evening to prepare for an urgent meeting the next day. So, if you are wearing a spouse centered or family centered glasses, you will tell your boss, I can't stay, and take your spouse to the movie to please your spouse. It could be your husband or your wife. And if you are wearing an money centered glasses, you will think of overtime and potential rise and about impressing your boss. You call your wife and say, I can't take you to the movie today. Of course, the spouse might understand that money is more important to you than the spouse. If you are work centered, you'll be happy to do the job and will be thinking about career progression. If you are possession centered, you will think of what you can buy with the pay rise you get. If you are pleasure centered, you'll go to the movie just for the sake of pleasure. Even though if your spouse is happy with you working late, you'll still go to the movie because you're pleasure centered. If you're friend centered, your decision would be based on whether your friends will join for the movie, or it might also depend on whether your colleagues are also staying late at work, in which case you might want to stay late at work. If you are enemy centered, you may stay late because you'll get an edge over your competitor, your colleague. If you are community centered, you might be influenced by plans to attend the community event on that day, or if anyone in the community is joining for the movie, you might be willing to go to the movie. And if you are self centered, you will be focused on what you do the most, what will do the most good to you. If you are a principle centered person, now you'll think differently. You'll separate yourself from the emotion of the situation and from all the other factors that would act on you, and you evaluate all your options. You will take an holistic and balanced approach, weighing what the work needs, what the family needs are, and the implications of any alternative decisions that you take. You'll come up with the best solution, taking all factors into consideration. Whether you go to the concert or stay and work is really a small part of an effective decision. You are really the advantage of this, or you are not being acted upon by people or circumstances. You are proactively choosing what you determine is the best alternative. You make your decisions consciously and knowledgeably. Second advantage is that you know your decision is most effective because it's based on principles with predictable long-term results. The third advantage is what you choose to do contributes to your ultimate values in life. Staying at work just to get an edge on someone at the office is an entirely different evening in your life from staying because you value your boss's effectiveness and you genuinely want to contribute to the company's welfare. The experiences you have as you carry out your decisions take on quality and meaning in the context of your life as a whole. The fourth advantage is you can communicate to your wife and your boss with strong networks that you have created in your relationships. You might decide to delegate what is delegatable and come in early the next morning to do the rest. And finally, you will feel comfortable about your decision. Whatever you choose to do, you can focus on it and enjoy it. So, as a principle centered person, you see things differently, and because you see things differently, you think differently and act differently. Okay, let's move on to the next topic. Let's think of yourself and then think of four categories of people with which you deal the most part of your life. It's the family, your immediate and extended family, your friends, your colleagues at work, and the community in which you are serving. You will have to rightly balance each of these four categories if you wish to have an effective life. Let's imagine that the doomsday has arrived and I'm gonna die on that day. So that's some day in the future. So visualize that your funeral is happening. I know it's very hard to imagine, but it's inevitable. So what would you like to hear from each of these four category people about your life? What kind of a family member or work associate or friend would you like their words to reflect? What character would you like them to have seen in you? What contributions and achievements would you want them to remember? What difference would you like to have made in their lives? This will help you determine what you wish to achieve. So that would be your mission statement. So well, what is a personal mission statement? A personal mission statement is just like your constitution. So it's just a set of rules or values or principles which you decide and keep amending. So just like constitution of countries, they never have fundamental changes, but there will be small amendments. Similarly, a mission statement is not something that you write overnight. So it really takes deep introspection, careful analysis and visualization. It may take several weeks or months before you really feel comfortable with it. Try to think of your mission statements with respect to the below, with respect to these four categories. So why do we need a mission statement? A mission statement is needed because it will show you the direction you need to take. It will help you with day-to-day decisions and any life-changing decisions that you make. So I just created a sample mission statement to show you as an example of how you can write your mission statement. So for convenience, I have divided it into four categories, but you need not do that. You can just have a single mission statement. So a personal family related mission statement could be talk to your parents as frequently as you can. Balance your career and family as best as I can. So be like a friend with your children. So just get down to their level and try to understand them better. So a social or friends related mission statement could be honest, listen more, speak less, stay in touch, help them when they are in need. And a mission statement with respect to your professional life could be plan tomorrow's work today, develop one proficiency a year, file as many patents as you can, appreciate success of subordinates. A community or a service related mission statement could be don't judge people by on face value, and Be willing to share knowledge, inspire students, help orphans, motivate them, guide them in their life. And these are just small examples, so your mission statement could be a few pages as well. Try and write your own mission statement. I'll also show you how a company's mission statement will look like. So these are examples of Google, Facebook, SpaceX and Tesla. So Google's mission statement is to organize the world's information and make it universally accessible and useful. So whenever Google wants to make a strategic decision, it will look at its mission statement and determine whether they're moving in the right direction or not. So similar thing with Facebook. So it wishes to give people the power to share and make the world more open and connected. For SpaceX, it is to revolutionize space technology with goal of enabling people to live on other planets, to make humans extraterrestrial, multiplanetary species. Tesla's goal or mission statement is to accelerate the world's transition to sustainable energy. So think about it, guys. Come up with your own mission statement, and when you make day-to-day decisions, just stick to your mission statement and try to make meaningful decisions. Thank you for your time. See you in the next episode. Bye bye.